Hello students, in today's video I shall be discussing the structure of a PhD thesis. My name is Nabarun Ghosh. I am an assistant professor in the Department of English, Jagjivan College, Veer Kumar Singh University, Ara. In a thesis, the first point to be covered is the introduction. In the introductory part, a student or a research scholar must point out the problem for which he or she has taken up the topic, or he or she is going to give the solution. Research is nothing but a solution to a certain problem. So as a student we must mention clearly what is the problem for which I am going to give solution. We have to give a broad overview in the introductory part. Then we have to mention the aim and the objectives. Aim is your target, and objectives, they are the steps through which you will achieve the aim. Suppose my aim is to go to Delhi, and first I have to decide the methodology that I am going to adapt. So the methodology may be, or the method may be, by train or by air. Suppose I have taken the method of air. So the aim is to go to Delhi, and the objectives, I have to break the aim into several objectives in order to achieve that aim. So in order to go to Delhi, first from Ara, I have to go to Patna airport and then catch a flight, thereby I will reach Delhi. So the aim is to go to Delhi, and the objectives are divided into several parts which will be included in that aim. Next we go to limitations. What is limitation? It is nothing but restriction. In a PhD thesis we must take a topic which is limited, which is researchable. We cannot take a topic which cannot be covered in a PhD thesis. Suppose if I take a topic like feminist viewpoint in Indian English novels. So there are several Indian English novels where I can apply the theory of feminism, but it is not possible to take all the novels in a PhD thesis. So we have to limit ourselves in our PhD thesis. That is limitation. And rationale for the project. Rationale for the project is justification of the PhD topic that you have taken, and why and how is it relevant to the study of English literature, for example. So you have to justify why you have taken the topic and how is it relevant. It may be that you have chosen the topic because in this topic nobody has worked before, or it may be an additional research work to the research work previously done by somebody else. Next we come to hypothesis. Hypothesis is an assumption before actually taking up the research. It is a kind of conclusion on the basis of assumption that so and so is going to be the conclusion of my PhD thesis. A hypothesis should be very brief and precise. It has to be mentioned in the earlier part of a thesis. And a good research is that one where the hypothesis changes at the end of the research. Suppose you have stated that so and so is going to be my conclusion, but after doing the writing thesis you find out that your hypothesis have been changed, then it must be said that you have done a good PhD thesis. And next come to methodology. Methodology is the method that you are going to adapt. It constitutes theoretical framework and its application. In English literature we generally apply the method of critical and analytical approach, and in this critical and analytical approach comes several theoretical frameworks such as post-colonialism, post-modernism, feminism, and number of other topics such as subaltern, These are the theoretical frameworks that can be applied to a study in English literature. Now come to review of literature. So in review of literature, we have to discuss the secondary sources. Actually, there are two kinds of sources. One is primary source and another is secondary source. In primary source, we mention the texts and the interviews given by the writers in English literature subject, and the secondary sources are the works done on the text. So the reference books will come under secondary sources. So if I choose a topic, I have to find out what are the related works that have been published by other authors. So I have to justify that my work is going to be different from their works. Then comes the most important part of the thesis, that is the body, and here comes chapterization, and this is the part where a research scholar can exercise his or her full liberty. In any way it can be written. Generally the body of a thesis constitutes 4 or 5 chapters. Sometimes it can be more than 4 and 5. So it is up to the research scholar how many words or chapters he is going to input in chapterization. Now come to conclusion. In conclusion, we have to mention the findings. What is the solution to the problem stated in the first introductory part that we have come across, and then we have to give a brief sum up of the whole thesis, and one more important part is scope for further study. You must remember that research is not a destination, it is actually a journey. You have taken the topic to a certain extent, and which can be reviewed in future by other research scholars. So you have to mention what are the scope for further study on the particular topic. Now let's come to bibliography. That is the work citation, what we have studied so far to conduct this research. And the work citation, there are in so far as work citation is concerned, there are several methods such as APA, MLA, and another method is Chicago method. APA is American Psychological Association and MLA is Modern Language Association. So one example is given here. In MLA style, suppose there is a book named 100 Years of Solitude, which was written by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So in MLA style, we have to mention the surname first, Garcia Marquez, then put a comma, then the name Gabriel and full stop. Remember that every comma and full stop has its significance. We cannot modify it, so we have to be very strict while writing the work citation part or the bibliography part. So Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude was written in Spanish language, and it was translated by Gregory Rabasa into English, and it was published in several parts of the world including New Delhi. So in my book it is written published from New Delhi, so I have written New Delhi, then a colon, and then who is the publisher, Penguin Books, and comma, and what was the publishing year, 1996, and whether it is a print version or an electronic version. So it is a print version, that's why print is written there, and full stop. So this is a style of writing. And if it is a book, we must italicize it. See, 100 Years of Solitude, this whole portion is italicized. Another example, William Spindler's. Again, Spindler is the surname, that's why it comes first, and William comes next, then full stop, and it is an article, Magic Realism, a Typology, which was published in Forum for Modern Language Studies. So the name of the volume or the anthology is italicized, and the uh, uh, article has been put under double inverted comma. and it was published in January 1993, and it was printed in the pages 75 to 85, and I have accessed this journal on 20th January 2011 from this URL. You have to mention the URL also. Another example is Susan Lancer's Fictions of Authority, Women Writers and Narrative Voice. It was published in Ithaca, Cornell University Press, 1992 print. Another example is Toni Morrison's A Mercy. It was published in London by Vintage Publishers in 2019. It is a print version. See, I have given 3 dashes because the A Mercy and Beloved both are written by Toni Morrison. So I don't have to mention the name Morrison Toni again and again. I can put 3 dashes and a full stop and write the details of the book. Now there are some few tips to write a PhD thesis. So far as language is concerned, we must write in third person point of view. That is, we should not use I, we, you, this type of words, us. So we must write in a third person point of view. I should not write I think that this and this, I think so and so. I cannot write like this. I have to write in always third person point of view, and the language should be clear. Clarity is primary, and use of sophisticated language and bombarding words, these are all secondary things. Clarity comes first. If the idea can be expressed in simple words and it can be expressed clearly, then sophistication of language is not so necessary. Then proofreading is an important part before the submission of thesis, and proofreading should be done not by the research scholar who has written the PhD thesis. It should be done by somebody else, maybe his friend or somebody else. Of course, the PhD supervisor proofreads it several times, but if possible, a research scholar should get it proofreaded by several other persons. Then let's come to plagiarism. Plagiarism is when a research scholar takes the content of somebody else or some other author without acknowledging. So if I directly copy from some source and put it in my PhD thesis in order to show that it is my own writing, so this is a kind of plagiarism. Plagiarism check is must nowadays. In universities there are several softwares, and here I have also mentioned 2 softwares, Authenticate and Turnitin. They are good softwares, but a PhD student does not have to purchase this Authenticate and Turnitin, because in university library itself there will be some plagiarism checking software. And these are the few books which can be consulted before venturing to write a PhD thesis. It is one book is written by Kothari, and the name of the book is Research Methodology, Methods and Techniques. Another book is Prashant Sarangi's Research Methodology, and SiteWrite is also a very good book which can be studied before writing PhD thesis. Thank you very much for listening. See you in another video.